feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
So Fani Willis, she's cooked, people. She's fucking cooked. This is what happens. You fuck with motherfucking YSL and Young Thug King Slime, nothing happens to you. You get a promotion. You're taking gangbangers off the streets. These guys are vile. Look at him. He got tattoos on his face. He keep wiping his nose. It's not COVID time. That nigga's a killer. So she locked up YFN, right? Or like she locked up IFB, was the Inglewood Family Bloods or whatever. And that included like YFN Lucci, and she locked up YSL. And everybody applauded her. Hey, listen, finally a black woman who's had enough of these fucking violent thugs. Because here's the thing that they were saying in Atlanta. If you're a white dude and you target black people, remember Atlanta, let's look at the demographics real quick, right? Atlanta demographics race. Let's see it, right? Black or African American, 47%. This is probably one of the few places in America that is a large city that has majority people who are black. White people happen to be 40%. And by the way, I hear that these census reports aren't even accurate. I hear it's more like 60-some% black people and more like 30% white people, okay? You got 5% Asian and 2 or more races. We got 4.6. Now, what does this mean? That when it comes to voting power, that black people and their what they care about matters a lot. So if you're a white DA, and by the way, a district attorney is an elected position, okay? They're on a ballot usually. Usually that's not the reason why you go vote. But for the people who are really into that politics and like the law or whatever, they would. But you usually just vote for them along with whoever they're like, you know what I mean, almost aligned with, right? So you don't really know that you're electing these people, but you do elect them. Now, here's the thing. If you have a white DA that's, let me look at Baltimore. Let me see. Baltimore demographics by race. Yeah, Baltimore got mad black people, ain't it? Oh, shit. Black people is 60% over there. That's why there was like, the cops got mad because the mayor was like, man, fuck all these cops who's like harassing black people. And the cops was like, harassing? Nigga, it's all niggas here and they're doing all the crime. Wait, you don't want us to, we'll just leave the black people alone if you want, right? Look, so this is Baltimore City, Maryland. Let's look at, okay, race. Look, black alone. Black or African American is right here. It says 61%. Y'all see this? Wow. That's probably the most, right? Let me Google. U.S. city with percentage population black. Let me see. Oh, Jackson, Mississippi. Nobody care about that. Oh, list of U.S. cities with most. Okay. South Fulton? What the fuck is this? Jackson. Oh, Detroit. Detroit is 80% black? Holy. Birmingham. Really? Like, anytime I see Alabama, I just think racist. Oh, Miami Gardens? Okay. Memphis. Memphis is 63% black? Montgomery? Of course. That's why we get hitting people in the head with chairs. That's what's up. Baltimore actually comes in at 8th. What did the census say? It was 6. Okay. So it's kind of about accurate. Augusta, Georgia, Shreveport, New Orleans, Macon, Baton Rouge. Oh, Newark is 50%? I didn't even know that. Fuck. Okay. All right. So anyway, Atlanta, Georgia did come in at 20. Anyway, the point is this. If you're a white district attorney, you're governing a city, or you're responsible for prosecuting cases in a city that is primarily black, what you don't want to do, especially if you're in Atlanta, is to target all the high-profile rappers that everybody loves. They're going to call you racist. They're going to say that there's all type of stuff wrong with you. You're blah, 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 blah. So what you normally do is you're going to either try to have somebody else deal with those problems, or you're going to ignore them because you want to think about election time. You don't want nobody to think you're a racist or that you're targeting people. Like if this was a white prosecutor that locked up Young Thug and claimed that they're going to use lyrics, we'd be like, white people are racist, right? But now it's a black woman, it looks a lot better. Anyway, Fani Willis gets in power. She says, yo, for what all y'all pussy ass white DAs couldn't do, I'm going to do. I'm going to lock up all these black rappers who've been doing crime because they're really half criminals and half musicians. That's how she got like Young Thug in them. Cool. Now, went through a lot to say that, to basically say that essentially she has been heralded as Queen Fani. That's what everybody calls her, Queen Fani. She's taken on the streets, right? She's a black woman, so if she locks up Thug, people will still vote for her as long as crime goes down. Because even though people like Thug, people hate crime, right? If it's a white DA, you're gonna just run with the narrative that they're racist. So she's been doing good. However, she aimed her sights at Donald Trump. And sometimes, listen, if you get a little bit too close to the sun, you will get fucking engulfed. And that's pretty much what's happening to her. Now, there's been rumors that she fucked the guy who was the main victim or the deceased victim of this whole YSL case, which is Donovan Thomas. But that's not enough to really get that case really looked at on a higher level if it's, was prejudicial or not, blah, blah, blah. What did happen, though, is when she brought charges against Donald Trump for election interference, now people started looking into her history and how she chose to prosecute it. Now, she put a special prosecutor on it, and we all talked about this before. Fani Willis, special prosecutor, okay? It's this guy his name is Nathan Wade. Come to find out, I showed you all the bank stuff. She went on vacations with this nigga a bunch of times, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. Today what came out is that, listen, if we all know y'all going to Cancun together, y'all probably fucking. Y'all not doing, she was chalking it up as business meetings and just regular trips. No. It was pretty much clear she was fucking this guy. So now she acknowledged in some documents filed that she did have a personal relationship with this guy. But she's denying that it has any type of bearing on why she's going at Trump, how she's going at Trump, or her integrity, period. Now, let me give you a little bit more to it. So this special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, the reason why, one of those people started investigating her, Nathan Wade, $700K. Basically, there was an overpayment of about $700,000 that, look, see, House GOP, here we go. Fulton County DA and special prosecutor Nathan Wade admit to a personal relationship, right? It started before the indictment, okay? The travel was paid, okay. So essentially, everybody says he's been overpaid as a special prosecutor, and the person who picked the special prosecutor is a woman fucking the dude, right? Which is Fani. So they're saying this is already fucked up. In certain cases, you need special prosecutors to not have a conflict of interest. Because of some of the things that's happened with Fani Willis, and because they feel like, some people feel it's a political play by her to try to get Trump, she nor her office could prosecute former President Donald Trump for his alleged transgressions of election interference. So what they have to do is bring in a special prosecutor, or they have to reconvene those charges to be held somewhere else. But because of how the nature of it is, you want to keep it in Georgia, they just brought a special prosecutor in. They overpaid this prosecutor apparently $700,000, which is not normal of what they would normally pay someone who would be doing such a job. But they overpaid this guy all because of Fani Willis. Fani Willis picked the guy and also funneled extra funds to him. What Trump is saying, you know why she picked that nigga, right? She's sucking his cock. You know why he's getting paid so much more than a regular person that would normally be a special prosecutor on a case like this. And he's getting paid $700K. The reason why he's getting paid that is because literally, some of that money is going to be used to fund the lifestyle that will be lived by both of them since they're fucking each other. Okay. So here is some documents. Okay. Here we go. The payment of earned compensation to Special Prosecutor Wade has not resulted in any financial benefit to District Attorney Willis. Okay. Roman's motion wildly speculates, all right? And I guess that's an opposing person in the case. Speculates that District Attorney Willis somehow benefited financially from the investigation and prosecution of this criminal case, but provides no support to justify that conclusion. To be absolutely clear, the personal relationship between Special Prosecutor Wade and District Attorney Willis has never been direct or indirect financial benefit to the District Attorney Willis. So basically, when they say personal relationship, they're vaguely basically saying that there is a personal relationship with them, which is outside of a work relationship, which you got to mean. and they're just still trying to maintain, no, it never like interfered with what they're doing. But come on, right? We're going to use common sense in a second. Let's read a few of these other things. In 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship. So basically, he started long dicking her in 2022, right? In addition to our professional association and friendship. So this is her admitting, which, by the way, this is something I don't even know if, I've watched a few political pundits talk about it. This may open her up to possibly incarceration, because when you hold one of these public offices, which, by the way, yes, a district attorney is a public office. It is voted on, as I said, by the people. When you hold that stature, you could, number one, be impeached. And by the way, there has been impeachment articles filed to get her out of the position, right? Now, it won't affect the YSL case. The YSL case is already going on. By the way, that should end, if you're asking me, in about like 6 or 7 months. The YSL case should be completed. But what more specifically it will do is that it will probably taint any possible case. Remember, the case with Trump hasn't really started yet. It will make it almost impossible for them or even that special prosecutor to go forward with the prosecution of Trump. And if they do want to prosecute him, by that time, I believe that the election, which we all know, hey, this is an election year, the election will be over, if you ask me. So, Fani Willis, she was pushing the envelope by saying if she could speed up the case, and she could get maybe the courts to interject or possibly get Trump get found guilty on certain shit, he would be ineligible to run. So some people felt like this was a way to have election interference by trying to convict the former president who's running again, that if he gets found guilty, he just can't be, an actual viable candidate. Anyway, she's now admitting, which, by the way, here's the thing too. This is what I'm saying. Not only did this open her up to impeachment, she's admitting to having this personal relationship with this nigga. Like, bro, usually at any job, think about a job you work at. If you're fucking your boss, right? Like, you could go to HR and like fucking, or if that's found out, your boss might get fired. There's a lot of ramifications if you're fucking somebody in power. Fani Willis has the power and has the authority to deal with and dole out state allocated funds, right, for her district to help in prosecution. Yes, she has some oversight boards and shit like that, but she has a lot of power. She could say, we're taking this part of my budget and putting it here. If you're giving your budget, your money, to the nigga you're sucking, almost like it's kind of like feasible to think that maybe you're doing it because you're sucking. Maybe not because he's the best guy for the job. Maybe because you're suck. So this is what we're now coming to find out. And by the way, rather than get exposed, and now here's the thing, this is not the YSL thing. We all heard about her with Donovan Nutt Thomas, but there's no hard proof. This, you're dealing with Trump, and Trump got the best people in the world, and also everybody who's a Trump supporter and blah, blah, they're all focused on this. She couldn't lie. So she's now admitting, rather than getting exposed to fucking this guy, she admits it in a filing. Hey, we did have a personal relationship. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, too, about like ethics and all these other things that not only go into a public office, but just go into any job. If you're going to fuck a coworker, usually they say you have to tell human resources, right? Like, I don't know if y'all work at a regular job. You got to tell human resources, yeah, I'm fucking this boss over here. And they will make that, it's almost like something that you both got to consent to. And then it has to almost, they're doing it to protect themselves. Because once you get two employees, one that has power and one that in each other, allegations could come out of that and it all falls back on the company, right? If this is the first time Fani Willis is admitting to fucking this special prosecutor, that seems unethical, correct? Now, let's keep reading. I have no financial interest in the outcome of the 2020 election interference case or in the conviction of any defendant. So this is what Nathan Wade has filed, right? No funds paid to me in compensation for my role as special prosecutor have been shared with or provided to District Attorney Willis. The district attorney received no funds or personal, like, you already know that Fani Willis is on some bullshit. Fani Willis, man, I knew that fat ass sitting up under that goddamn dress was being used for some reason. Imagine her squatting on that. She is probably making that shit clap like, that shit probably look like an Ice Spice video, man. Think you the shit, but you really the fart. Anyway, check this out. The district attorney received no funds or financial gain from my position of special prosecutor. Fani, why would you hire the nigga you're sucking his dick? to fucking go get the president of the United States. Did you think people would not find out? This is stupid to me. By the way, keep in mind, if Fani Willis is the first person to get Trump convicted of anything in a possible criminal proceeding, do you know how much of a made woman she is? Bro, she's going to walk into not only Congress, she might walk into like a fucking vice president cabinet position for something along the lines of wherever she want to fall on the aisle in terms of just politics. Like, bro, you're a made woman at that point. If you know you're going at Trump and this is so serious, right? Your career could either go to shit or you could go all the way up. Why the fuck would you hire the nigga you're fucking? Come the fuck on. This is so confusing to me. Anyway, it says, I've never cohabitated with Attorney Willis, which means, so the guy's saying he never lived with her. He says, I never shared household expenses with her. He says, I've never shared a joint financial account of any type with her. And he says, the district attorney and I are both financially independent professionals. Expenses for personal travel were roughly divided between both of us. At times, I've made the purchase for District Attorney Willis and myself from my personal funds. At other times, she's made and purchased travel for she and I from her personal funds. So they're basically saying that nothing that is like, state mandated or state funded, no taxpayer money has gone into like funding their little rendezvous or whatever the case is. But let's be honest, you're sucking his cock. Stop it. Examples of the District Attorney Willis purchasing plane tickets for she and I with personal funds are attached. And by the way, I think this is after it got exposed, by the way, right? So now let's look at what everybody's now saying. USA Today, which by the way, here is her being pictured next to the nigga. You know what I mean? She probably sucked him off before this, after this.
Individual charged in the indictment is charged with one count of violating Georgia's racketeer, influenced, and corrupt.
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is the Georgia prosecutor who has brought charges against former President Donald Trump and a bunch of other people over efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Earlier this month, one of the defense attorneys in the case filed a motion that seeks to remove Fani Willis from the case because it alleges that she has been involved in an inappropriate romantic relationship with Nathan Wade, who is a special prosecutor whom she hired to work on this case. While neither Willis nor Wade has addressed the allegations of an improper relationship, last week there was a filing in Wade's divorce case that included credit card records that showed that appeared to show that he had purchased plane tickets for himself and for Fani Willis to travel to Miami and to San Francisco during the time since he was hired as a special prosecutor.
I was cooking. Fuck! Okay. Let me do it again. Okay. So, to give it a little bit of an explanation of why this is such a big deal, and also I'm going to give my prediction on what's going to happen. So, Fani Willis is the district attorney, which I tell you is an elected position of Fulton County. The district attorney is the top cop in every local municipality or county. So, for example, your local police officer who pulls you over, right? Now, there are certain things that are city ordinances, which is, they wouldn't necessarily care about. But anything that becomes like a major crime has to go through the district attorney for that county. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is that Fani Willis, not only she's attorney, she's a top cop. I think district attorneys are actually also considered police officers. They're law enforcement officers, technically. And what happens here is you have to realize that no matter, even if, like, say she has a staff of people, ADAs, which are assistant district attorneys, that they're in court. So the people you see in court, normally won't see her in court, right? Because she's at an elevated position. She runs the office. But the people who are in court that are trying to get Jeffrey or Young Thug or YSL convicted are her employees. They're going by her direction. They're going under her mantra, her whole thing, right? Now, keep in mind, this is taxpayer funded. This is taxpayer voted on. Now, if this person is over here fucking people, then taking money that's allocated for big cases like this Trump case could be a big case. And by the way, if you guys don't know how the Trump case arose because Donald Trump got on the phone after he was losing the election, and he said, because all the votes weren't counted yet, he says, yo, there got to be a couple more votes for me, bro. Like, yo, make sure you go check. Like, and it was almost like he was soliciting votes. Now, that was seen as maybe as impropriety in terms of trying to solicit vote and interfere with the election when you're asking people who may be in charge of signing off on votes or signing off on like the results of votes to basically go find votes to make you win, right? That's what she kind of came in with. However, now that it's exposed that she's fucking the special prosecutor, this is what I suspect and what I believe is going to happen. I don't believe that Donald Trump nor the 14 other people accused with him of election interference will be charged. Well, not necessarily will be charged. They're already charged. I don't think they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent or prosecuted where they will be found guilty. I think this case is now imploded. Does anybody got Netflix in here? There's a new series that just came on. I just started watching it, and of course I fell asleep during the middle. So now I watched the end of it and it was so interesting. It's called Griselda. It's about a former drug dealer, Griselda Blanco. Like, anybody watch that? Anybody watched it? No, guess not. Okay. Now, if you watched it, there's a particular part at the end where one of the top like hitmen, the shooters for like Griselda, essentially he got out of his case, or not necessarily got out of the case, but he kind of like avoided some of the harsh penalties on a technicality because the DA, right? Because he was about to snitch on Griselda. So he was going to snitch on the woman that was telling him to murder the people. And him and the DA now are working together because he's about to snitch. What happens is the DA's assistant becomes the handler for him. And what happens is he's in jail. Him and the DA assistant talks on the phone a lot. They start flirting and they start having phone sex. What happens is basically that comes to light later on and it becomes a huge conflict of interest. The snitch in your case against Griselda is now fucking or not cyber fucking, but like telephonically fucking the DA's assistant. Big no. That is so like, it sets it up for all type of appeals. And that's where we're going to get to when I'm thinking about the YSL case. So this YSL case, if you ask me, so to be very clear, I don't think Trump and them and his people will get properly prosecuted or even prosecuted and convicted because of this. Now, if I am Jeffrey, if I'm Brian Steele, I'm going to keep my eyes open at this motherfucking case. I got to keep my eyes open at this case. I got to be very abreast of what's going on, because on the off chance, and not actually the off chance, I actually do think Young Thug, like truly, I think he's going to get convicted. I don't think they're wasting a year for him to get not convicted. And by the way, there's so much overwhelming proof that he was the leader of the gang. Again, like people are thinking that he's charged with like very specific things. He's charged with running and operating a gang that did bad things. And some of the bad things already proven. If he's the leader, he's going to go to jail. That's just how it is. Like, this whole thing that they keep trying to do in court. No, he just wipes his nose because he has COVID all the time. No. Like, again, what the jury's going to see when they go deliberate, if we did a good job to prove that this guy is in a gang, you got to send him to jail. That's it. If he was in this gang, this criminal street gang that we already proved did mad crimes, and you believe he's a leader based on what we prove, send his ass to jail. So that's what I do think Young Thug is going to jail. I think whatever they're doing is just, it's more setting up things for an appeal. Now, granted, I think this is going to set shit up for an appeal. You see how Tory's team don't stop? Like, they keep trying to get reasons or whatever to get him out of jail. I think Young Thug's team is going to do the same. I think he's going to get found guilty. I think then he's going to start filing things, and especially use this case to say that it was this prosecution, the prosecution of him and his friends were in bad faith, and they're gonna cite this like, hey, listen, this DA has been fucking people who she has also put to prosecute people, and there's rumors that she was fucking maybe one of the deceased, and if they have any proof of it, it's going to come out then in maybe an appeal, and I think that might help Thug out, honestly, right? Because now we already now know she fucked one nigga, which is this guy over here, Nathan Wade. I could imagine Young Thug and them like, yo, let's get all the proof in the world that she fucked Donovan Nut Thomas, and if we get convicted, we're throwing that in our first motherfucking appeal to like the Fulton County Superior Court or maybe the Superior Court of Georgia, and we're gonna try to get this whole conviction tossed out. Like this shit was a very. Remember, I also told you this too. Fani Willis, right? Remember, I said that YSL Mondo. I said I think this is my just personal thoughts. The only reason YSL Mondo was not involved in this prosecution. Keep in mind, this guy who's like, what's his name? Is it Tick or Slug? I can't remember what's his name. Is the guy with the gray in his hair who keeps saying, we wipe our nose when it's like the guy who's trying to play games. Keep in mind, that guy, he hasn't been involved with YSL in years, yet he was charged. So when I thought about YSL Mondo, I'm like, why was YSL Mondo never charged? Now, the reason why I believe he wasn't charged is that when it came time for charging, Fani Willis realized she represented this guy multiple times on cases that may be gang influenced, and she would look like a hypocrite. Also, it would be a huge conflict of interest that might even require her for that case to get a special prosecutor. And I think that's why she said, fuck it, I won't charge him, but I'll charge everybody but him. Now, granted, that guy found himself back in jail anyway, but I think that's why he avoided charges at that point. Anyway, I say all that to say Fani Willis is now fucked, and she went from the most like eligible, like celebrated black woman because we thought like she was on some like Michelle Obama. What's her vice president name? I can't remember her name. Yo, she's a waste chick. She went from being very celebrated for how strong she was against crime and being a strong black woman to now people are looking at her. And by the way, this actually makes it worse for black people. You know what people are saying? Of course, when you get the black chick with the fat ass and put her in politics, before she prosecutes anybody of interest, she's fucking and sucking like a motherfucker. She's like Sexy Red without the red wig, right? Yeah, so this does not make it look good for, you know, other African-American women who might be just doing their job and not be, you know, swayed by dick, right? Because clearly she looks like she might. Anyway, let's keep this shit going, brother. Let's keep this shit going. Can't believe I was muted for a little bit, man. Akademiks came in, huh? It's all good. All right, people. Let's see what else is going on. Hey, I'm watching this case so I know some of y'all not too much into politics, but I'm watching this case. This case is so interesting because Fani Willis, I remember saying to myself, she has a slam dunk. Yo, she's going to the White House at some point. She's gonna be up there. And now I'm realizing, I'm like, yo, she fucked herself. Like, she's gonna be looked at as a joke. Okay. Christian 8, thank you for the 5, by the way. He says, yo, Ak, you got to watch the case. The lawyers are actually doing decent, showing the crimes weren't gang-related, and it's very unorganized. Yeah, no, of course it's very unorganized, but here's the thing. The reason why it's a year-long case is that they have an abundance of like, let's say, proof. If you're a jury, man, you're going to sit and listen for a year of all these things. It's hard to come out of that and just be like, this person's completely innocent. It's very hard to, bro. It's very hard. I think the prosecutor is hitting them with everything possible. Okay, let me see what else is going on. Yeah, she admits to having a relationship. That's crazy, ain't it? What else?